The Jealous Man. There was once a man named Bate who went out to look for a job. As Bate was passing his neighbor's house, an important piece of paper fell out of the man's pocket. His neighbor happened to be looking out of the window. He saw the piece of paper and he thought, what a disgrace! That Bate deliberately let that paper out of his pocket. He's trying to mess up in front of my house, and he's being sneaky about it too. But instead of going out and saying something, the neighbor planned his revenge. That night he took his wastepaper basket and went to Bates' house. Bates also happened to be looking out of the window and saw what happened. Later, when he was picking up the papers which had been dumped on his porch, he found the important piece of paper that he had lost. It was torn into dozens of pieces. He thought that his neighbor Joe had not only picked his pocket, but had the plan to mess up his doorway with rubbish. Bate didn't want to say anything. Instead, he started plotting his revenge. That night, he phoned a farmer to make an order of 10 pigs and 100 of ducks. Bate asked that they should be delivered to his neighbor's house. Of course, the next day his neighbor Joe had quite a bit of trouble trying to get rid of so many animals. Sure that this had been a trick pulled by his neighbor, as soon as the Joe got rid of the pigs and ducks, he again started planning his revenge. And so it went on. They continued trying to get their own back on each other, and each time their acts of revenge got bigger and more ridiculous. The dropping of that single piece of paper ended up invoking a rock band, a fire siren, the driving of a lorry into a garden fence, the throwing of a stone at windows, and finally the dropping of a bomb which destroyed both men's houses. Both ended up in a hospital and had to spend quite some time sharing a room there. At first they refused to speak to each other, but one day, tired of silence, they got to talk. As time passed, they became friends until one day they finally dared discuss the piece of paper incident. They realized that it had all been a misunderstanding and that if they had talked to each other on the first occasion, this thing wouldn't have happened. Moral of the story: instead of jumping to conclusion and spying on others, ponder upon your bad intention and improve them.